And now, the most famous event in the Shenango Valley, because it's the only event currently in the Shenango Valley. Welcome to Live with Zip-Eye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's good to be with you all. I hope you all can hear me okay. If you can't, if you could just comment in there and let me know that you cannot hear me. Hope the lighting's all right. This is the first time we're doing this. So as I said before, the over-under in Vegas, well, there is no Vegas right now, but if you have a bookie and you took over, I'm hoping that you took the over because it was about 15.5, and I don't know. I think we're probably going to be over 15.5. I'm just saying that, but we shall see. So this show is going to be about things with the Shenango Valley, some satire, some fun, some funny things, some ridiculous things, some very serious things, and other random things that come to my brain as per usual. So hope you guys can hear me on Facebook. Hope you guys can hear me on Instagram. We're going to answer some calls. We're going to answer some comments. We're going to answer some questions. So I want to remind everybody, this is rated G, so I hope your family's gathered around your fireplace and you guys are just ready to have some fun for the next 4 hours. So what gives me authority to talk about the Shenango Valley? First off, well, nothing. Besides, I've lived here for 28 years. That's it. So there you go. Some topics for tonight. Got some notes here. We're going to be discussing some restaurants, some drive-thrus, some takeout places, some high school sports, some high school student sections, some college student sections, and last but not least, some events, hopefully, that will come to the Shenango Valley in the future. And I want to let you know that money is not pouring in yet from our sponsors. I think probably after this, we'll be taking a bunch of calls from some corporations that want to sponsor this event. Money will just be flowing in, dropping down upon us like rain. But I want to let you know for sure that it'll not change our perspective of this Facebook Live. It'll not change what we do here, okay? We will not let those corporations influence us, even though they're showering us with money. But I say that to let you know that we do have some sponsors to go over throughout the night as well, just to let you know. So why don't we get to it here? If you can, this would really help me out. If you could send some likes my way on the live feed there, whether on Instagram or Facebook, and if you could comment where you are watching from, that'll be huge as well, because once we get this out to the people, to the masses, that'll be very important for our ads and whatnot. So thank you. If you could comment, if you could like the channel, that would be great. If you could like the feed, that would be awesome. If you hate the feed, just say, "Hey, I hate the feed," and then you leave, and you could just tell your friends never watch that guy again. So first thing we're going to be covering, as many of you know, I pretty much eat out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And what I found is this. Over the years, there is one drive-through in the Shenango Valley that is by far the fastest drive-through. Now, this data is a little bit skewed because I haven't been back there in a while because they've changed their barbecue sauce, and I don't like the barbecue sauce, so I don't go back there much. But that drive-through is the Wendy's drive-through in Hermitage, Pennsylvania. That is the fastest drive-through, I think, known to man. Half the time, they already have your bag out the window before you even order. It's that fast. So if somebody's watching from Wendy's, there's probably an employee watching from Wendy's. Kudos to you. Excellent job. You are one of the reasons why we go to the drive-thru. While I'm on this topic, I tried to beat the drive-thru the other day, not at Wendy's, somewhere else, by getting out of my car, even though there were 18 cars in the drive-thru. I got out of my car. I thought I could beat it by going in the actual restaurant. Let me tell you something. You probably already know this. This is probably nothing new, but it never works. You cannot beat the drive-through system. So I don't care if there's 30,000 cars there. You better just wait your turn, because if you go in, you're not going to beat it, which it's a bummer, I know, but it is what it is. Something else on the drive-through front, I want to talk about my favorite, but I want to talk about my favorite drive-through ever, and this actually goes for the whole entire world. So if you're watching from somewhere besides the Shenango Valley, which I know there people are because this show is absolutely taken off. It's gone to the moon. But the most ratchet drive-through ever actually is in Hermitage, Pennsylvania. That drive-through, you can all say it with me, your kids probably know it, is the Long John Silver's drive-through. Long John Silver's, I love Long John Silver's. I love the fish, okay? But that drive-through, it's literally an elevator. It's built on a little bit of a slant, and the drive-through comes down, and it stops like an elevator. And you put your money or you put your credit card in a little cup. And I'm not kidding when I say this. I think that cup has been there since it was built, probably in like the 70s. I think they used the exact same cup. So especially in these times right now, I wouldn't be touching that cup. I would just maybe put some cash in there and tell them to keep the change. But that drive-through, I think, is the most ratchet drive-through in the whole entire world. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right on that. And yeah, so those are my two drive-through comments. And now we're going to move on to takeout. So hold on a second. Yep. Okay, that was just a word from our producers. I'm going to go over some quick sponsors. Some sponsors for tonight. I want to thank the Hermitage Denny's. I want to thank Farmore, Hills, CC's Pizza, Kmart, Italian Oven, Cold Stone Creamery, Tim Hortons, Quiznos Subs, Bob's Sub Shop, and last but not least for the first segment, Jerry Stigliano's Book Source. I want to thank you guys very much for sponsoring this event. Thank you. I'm going to move on to some takeout. And with that comes what I usually get for breakfast. I want to thank Eaton Park specifically for their takeout now that they have a drive-through. If you haven't tried the Eaton Park drive-through, you better do it. You pull up, and there's already a little thing outside that your tire goes over. It rings a bell. They come right to the window. But Eaton Park is amazing because you can still get French toast sticks at Eaton Park. You can still get French toast sticks. So if you love French toast sticks that you got at your elementary school as a kid, you can still get those at Eaton Park, which is usually what I get there. So kudos to Eaton Park. So I guess that could go in the drive-through category as well. But somebody can call up Bob Evans, one of the relatives, to sponsor this because Bob Evans is an amazing, amazing place, especially for takeout. So I thank them. They know my order there. They also know my order at Muscarella's as well. But we'll get into that in a second. So they have amazing omelets there at Bob Evans, the Western omelet or the Farmer's Choice breakfast, where you get meat, you get pancakes, you can get waffles. I usually get the crepe. And then you get hash browns, home fries, whatever, and you call it a day. So that's amazing at Bob Evans. But speaking of Muscarella's, we're going to move on to something that Muscarella's has the best takeout for, and that is cheap lunch. Very cheap lunch. Get the grilled steak there at Muscarella's, side of penne pasta with vodka sauce, and Muscarella's, in my opinion, and I'll go over this in a second. In my opinion, Muscarella's has the best vodka sauce in the area. Now, these are just my opinions. So I want everybody that's watching right now to take a deep breath and to not lash out on anybody on the feeds or lash out at me, okay? These are just my opinions. They're not gospel, but this is not your show. But you can comment your opinion. We'll get to some of those questions in a second. Hickory Grill is another place for takeout. $6 burgers on Tuesdays. $6 burgers, and the burgers are excellent. The burgers are absolutely excellent. I'm not giving anybody a shout out here that doesn't deserve a shout out. Okay. And last but not least, on my takeout regiment is Jim's Chili at Lulu Beans. I'm not sure if Jim's watching or not, but Jim's Chili at Lulu Beans is an amazing concoction, and it has sweet potatoes in the chili as well. So I want to thank Lulu Beans for that chili. It's absolutely amazing. It's my favorite chili. It is. So, okay. I'm going to get to the next segment here. Best of the best in the Shenango Valley. Want to thank my clock there for that 15-minute interval. Best pizza, in my opinion, Luigi's Pizza. Hands down. Luigi's Pizza. The best in the area. In my opinion, the best pizza ever. Okay? Now, don't get your onions in a bunch if you like another place. I love a lot of other pizza places, but in my opinion, Luigi's Pizza is the best in the area. Right? Every time you call, it's just 20 minutes away. That's it. 20 minutes. They have it ready in 20 minutes. For wedding soup in the area, I have two places. Muscarella's has excellent wedding soup, and so does Aldo's. You might not think of Aldo's having amazing wedding soup, but I mean, it is an Italian pizza place. But Aldo's is an amazing soup pizza place. Okay? So if you go to Aldo's, try the wedding soup. If you go to Muscarella's, try the wedding soup. Best place for Philly cheesesteak and just regular cheesecake, you got to go to Scotto's. The pizza is there, but you got to go to Scotto's for good cheesecake, and you go to Scotto's for good Philly cheesesteaks. You can talk to my boys there. Okay, Carlos and Rick, excellent Philly cheesesteaks. Best wings, our gang's Hot Geno's. Okay, I think most of us know that. And best soup if you're sick. Best soup if you're sick. You can go to China Walk. They'll deliver. Chicken and rice soup. They even have the little scallions in there. It's extremely hot. You can get a quart of soup. Super cheap, too. I think it's like $3.50 or something like that. I get it without the chicken. I just get the rice. Unbelievable soup, China Walk. Okay? Don't forget to like and comment. We're going to get to some questions in a couple minutes here. I also have my brother over here, helping us out with some questions because I can't read all these comments. I'm too far away. So I want to thank him, and I want to thank everybody else that has helped me do this so far, which is absolutely no one. But I want to thank you for your support. We're right on our way here. Let's get to some more sponsors. Let's thank, here we go. Let's thank C's Waffles. Let's thank Red Barn, Chi-Chi's, Ponderosa, Perkins, the Paradise Inn, Wink Novaks, Winkies, La Hacienda. Don't forget about Arthur Treachers. And let's thank Masons. So those are some more establishments that have been in the Shenango Valley. I'd like to thank them for making this all possible. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the Shenango Valley. We're talking about things that happen in our world, random events. We're going to move on. We've gone past the takeout and the drive-thrus and the restaurants. Let's move on to some things that are going to be some hot takes. All right, let's talk about high school sports. High school sports, something everybody loves in the Shenango Valley, something everybody loves all across the country. But high school sports in particular, I want to talk about basketball. Basketball, which obviously the events that have gone on, it's sad that Hickory can't, try for the title. I mean, who knows? Maybe they can. Hopefully they will be able to. Same with Farrell. But what I want to get to is the Shenango Valley. We have Hickory, West Middlesex, Sharpsville, Kennedy, and Farrell. And what I have a bone to pick with whoever does all the scheduling or whoever mandates this stuff. I want to see all the teams in the Shenango Valley actually play each other every single year, especially in ball. Okay, can I get some likes for that? Can I get some wows for that? Maybe some thumbs up, maybe some hearts for that in the comments. Okay? I want to see all those teams play each other. I had a big article written to the Sharon at the beginning of the season because I looked on one of those scheduling things online, Max Preps or whatever it was, and it had Hickory not even playing Sharon, and I was like freaking out. I was like, what? Hickory and Sharon are not going to play each other? And then little did I know that they actually were. It was on the schedule, but not on Max Prep, so I'm not going to trust that website anymore. But I want to see the actual teams play each other because this year, if Hickory and Kennedy would have played each other, I think Hickory would have taken them first and foremost, but those would be packed houses. When Hickory plays Sharon, it's a packed house. Okay, Hickory and Farrell should have played this year. That would have been another packed house. These are things that our community can gather around and actually enjoy going to. Plus, they raise a little bit of cash for the sports teams and for the schools, etc. So, whoever's watching out there, if you have some input to these different schools, I want to see the schools play each other. Now, I understand you can't do it in football because you're only allotted so many games. But basketball, it seems like they're playing anyways. Can we not make that happen in the Shenango Valley? Start that, please. Thank you. While I'm on that note, for football, I would like to see somebody bring back the Steel Bowl in football where Farrell and Sharon play. I would really like to see that. Okay, I know in previous years somebody mentioned to me, well, there were some things that went on, some different fights and whatnot. But hey, let's get it back together and figure that out. There's got to be a way we can figure that out. A lot of the kids know each other. Everybody in the community. We know a lot of the players from both sides. Can we get that? Can we get some? We get a cohesive unit there and make that happen. The Steel Bowl, please, 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 please. So that's a second hot take. But most of all, when you think about these different events, yes, a lot of the players know each other. Yes, a lot of the teams, the coaches, everybody in the community knows each other. But ultimately, it brings the community together. I mean, everybody knows at their workplace, they're like, oh, yeah, Hickory's going to be sharing this year. Oh, Farrell's going to be at Hickory this year, et cetera, et cetera. Like, that's fun stuff. And people gather around sports. So let's make it happen. Let's come together as a community and make those events happen. All right? Moving on to student sections, I want to tell every school in their I want to tell every student section that the last few years, I've been very disappointed in high school student sections, okay? Being a student section does not consist of you going to the sporting event and standing there, okay? Student sections actually have good impact on games, and that is the beautiful thing about student sections. I played basketball until high school, and when I got to high school, I took it upon myself, being a huge Duke fan, that I was going to rally a bunch of my buddies, and we were going to have impactful we're going to impact basketball games just because of the student section. And I graduated from Hickory in 2010, and the Hive became unbelievably crazy for every single basketball game. I remember, I don't know if Ron Jackson is on here right now, but I remember my buddy from Farrell. He led his student section. I led my student section, and we would battle it out, just going nuts the entire game. And when I say going nuts the entire game, you're chanting something on every defensive stop. You're chanting a lot of things when your team's on offense. You're chanting. You're going nuts. All right? Nowadays, the student sections are just, they're just standing there, not really having an impact on the game. So I'm challenging, especially high schools in the Valley, let's get something brewing here, okay? People like atmospheres. People like good atmospheres. Make it happen. Take control. There's got to be guys that love college basketball, all right? Get some students together, have cheers, pass out pieces of paper, have some fun. And the last thing I'm going to say about that is this. Two things real fast. My junior year, this kid from Franklin, he threw up an air ball. Okay, so every time that kid got the ball throughout the rest of the game, every time he touched the ball, we remembered that kid threw up the air ball. We chanted, air ball, air ball, air ball. And when that happened, at the end of the game, he airballed the free throw. Okay, so don't tell me that student sections do not have an impact on games and getting in players' heads, okay? Now, you can do it in a respectful way. I understand that completely, okay? I want to make sure I say that. You can do it in a respectful way. But it's a lot of good fun when student sections are actually getting into it, all right? It's a lot of good fun when you have an impact on the game. The second thing is this. Recently, Penn State football played Michigan at home last fall. My brother and I and some buddies were at the game. And the student section at the Penn State football game was so loud that the very first snap of the game, Penn State was on defense. Michigan had to call a timeout before the very even first play of the game because he could not hear the cadence. So don't tell me that student sections are not legit. Don't tell me that student sections can't be fun. You don't have to just stand there. Student sections should be loud, and they should be proud. All right? Thank you. Let's get back to the producer wants me to get to some more sponsors here. We got Masons, we got Grants, we got Riverside Market, Kresge's, My Frick, and Zoltan's, and Mason Sears. Don't forget about the Shenango Valley Hall. That's a great sponsor for us as well. That's a sponsor for all of us at all times. So we talked about some student sections. We talked about some sports. I'm serious about making that basketball stuff happen in the Shenango Valley, where either it's like a Mercer County Cup or a Shenango Valley Cup, or making one of those things happen. But that needs to happen. So let's get that going. And by the way, while we're on that, let's talk about how Bob Greenberg and Mark Slazak are legends for what they do on the radio. So kudos to those guys. I'm sure they're watching. Definitely are. I'm going to get to just a few more things here before we wrap this thing up. I want to talk about what happened with the 3-on-3 basketball tournament back in the day in the Shenango Valley. I was young. I was playing in that, and there used to be hundreds of people that would gather around for that event. And all of a sudden, it just vanished out of thin air. So I don't know what happened to that, but I'd like to have a motion to bring that back, because we need to start bringing some other cultural sporting events back to this area. We have some art events, we have some music events, we have some great food events, we have different parades, we have Buell Day, which is great. We have, like the Hermitage Arts Fest. We have random things like that, but we need to create some more things around sports tournaments. At one point, there was even a 3-on-3 soccer tournament, which I think was well attended. But we need to bring back some things that people can gather around. People can say, hey, you know what? This adds an element of some culture to our area as well. We need to bring that back. I think it may have been with the YMCA. I'm not sure, but we need to bring that back. We need to get a board together. And I'm sure we can talk to some people in regards to that. The other thing is I would love to see this area eventually get a sports complex. Yes, obviously we need $8 to $10 million, and obviously we're not in the biggest metropolitan area in the world. However, there are sports complexes that are 20 to 30 minutes away from us that don't have that large of a population either. And I know they don't print money. No, they don't. But let's get some famous people together, throw us a little bit of cash, I'm thinking if we get some wealthy people in the area, we can make a few phone calls, we can drop some mill, we can even if there's smaller contributions, get some people to drop some cash, so to speak, for something. And the only reason why I'm passionate about an indoor sports complex is this. We live in an area where you can do things outside 6 months out of the year. 6 months. And the other 6 months, what is happening? What is happening? So we need to create an environment and a reason for kids to get involved in things outside of school. Okay? I think my connection's poor on Instagram. Maybe if you guys want, you can flip over to Facebook. But we need to create some more abilities for people to stay in the area and attract people into the area, especially for some of these sports complexes. Okay, I know they're expensive. I know they don't print money. I know people aren't building those to make money. I know that. However, Governor Wolf, throw us a bone here. Maybe some state legislators, some can we get some bones? Can we get some bones thrown here? You can. There's sports complexes that have basketball tournaments in the winter where they draw people from all over the country. They're getting like plus. I mean, that's like hundreds of thousands of dollars just in tournament fees and food, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I know it's like, oh wow, it's such a pipe dream. But I remember Born to Run back in the day. He was trying to do it in Grove City, and I looked up the stats today. Within 6 hours of our area, within 6 hours, is 30% of the entire United States population. 33% within 6 to 6.5 hours. So when you think about hosting tournaments, you think about getting people from all over. So I'm not going to let that go until the day I die. I'm 20 years old now, and I've been preaching that for a long time. It never happened. But I'm not going to let that go. Eventually, there needs to be a sports complex. And I'm not just saying a small sports complex. I'm talking about a nice, large sports complex where we can host huge events. Okay? Let's make that happen. And finally, I have 2 more things I'd like to speak about before we go. I'd like to get to my last round of sponsors here. I'd like to thank the Rec Station for making this possible. Just with me saying the Rec Station, I think every single person on this broadcast right now just looked at their parents or looked at their son or daughter, or looked at their brother and sister and thought to themselves, you know what? thank God for the rec station when we were younger. That place was amazing. So, Mike Phillips, Ron Phillips, your whole family, that's for you. That's a salute to you guys. Thank you for that during our childhood. We appreciate that, and we need to bring something back, maybe even something indoor like that. You never know. So I'd like to thank the rec station for making this possible. Quick Phil, Big J's, Brewers. Last but Dahl Kempers, Will Smiths, and last but not least, I'd like to thank Frugal McDougal. Frugal McDougal. I think that was a place back in the 70s, maybe even the 60s in the Valley. I'd like to thank them for making this possible. I have two more things to go over. Chick-fil-A, I've said it before on Facebook. Why doesn't the area have a Chick-fil-A? I think within the next few years, it could be a real possibility. Somebody had mentioned before that on the corporate level, we didn't have the population. I understand that. But also, I believe we have around 16,000 cars that drive on 18. We have a bunch of college campuses that are within 15 to 25 minutes away that already come here for Starbucks, for Chipotle, et cetera, et cetera. I think Chick-fil-A in the next few years is a real possibility. I think it is. And who knows? Maybe with the thing that they're having at Lowe's, that little truck there, maybe they are testing some things. You never know. I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. These are just my random thoughts. Maybe they're testing this market. And since there's already a 2-hour line at that little food truck that they have, maybe there could be some potential here. On that note, I want to talk about how nice it is when you do drive in from West Middlesex, or you get off 376 and you come into Hermitage or wherever you're going, and you see the big FNB building, and you just see like some development there. It's good to see. It's good to see, and I think that will happen with the Shenango Valley. I think that whole place will become a nice little power center there eventually. And who knows, maybe a Chick-fil-A. And who knows, in the future, maybe some huge sports complex. You never know. But last but not least, on the agenda, the roundabout. Many of you know about the roundabout that'll be given by Dunkin' Donuts. I originally thought that the roundabout would be going on 18 and 62. I actually thought it would be going right there, which I thought that would be kind of cool. It would be absolutely huge. Have a nice roundabout there, but I don't know if that's even possible because you have stoplights and then you have the freeway on the south end, but who knows. But I originally thought the roundabout would be going there, but the roundabout is actually going by the Dunkin' Donuts, which is going to be very, very, very interesting. So we shall see. So I think we'll take maybe a few minutes if we have any comments or questions. I'm gonna check over with my brother here. Ryan, do we have any comments or questions?
We have one comment from Courtney Solani. She wants you to do the voice where you're moving your bananas to the belt.
Oh, okay, yeah, the giant eagle voice. That's what I really should be paid for. Anytime you go to the self-checkout line, you put your bananas there and it says, "Please move your bananas to the belt." And then you move your bananas, and then all of a sudden you start hearing, "Ding, ding, help is on the way." Actually, Giant Eagle, it's been better. So I want to thank the people at Giant Eagle. It's been much better. And yeah, so there's that. They should be paying me for that voice over there. Anything else, Ryan?
Let's see here.
Comments, questions?
Jason Gary wants to start up the Steide Cup volleyball tournament again for the late Frank Steidehar.
Yes. Many of you know Frank Steidehar. He was our gym teacher at the Hermitage Middle School, and he's a living legend. And we should have a volleyball tournament in his honor. I think his daughter, she may even be watching now. Steide passed away a little bit ago this year, and he loved volleyball. He held a big thing for a bunch of Hickory students. I think that would be legendary if there was a volleyball tournament in his honor. That would be great for the whole entire valley. I'm telling you what, sports tournaments. My brother and I had a tournament. We did it for 3 or 4 years. If you have ideas, bring them up. We can take them to the city of Hermitage. We can take them to Sharon. We can take them to wherever in the Shenango Valley, and we can try to make these things happen. For that spike ball tournament, we had people come up from Long Island. We had people come from Nashville, Tennessee. We had people come from Columbus. So we had people come from all over the place. So, things can happen. We had, I think, somewhere maybe like 100 people there for a couple of years, and people were staying in the area as well. So it's cool to have events where people actually come into the area, which is what would happen with a sports complex. But like I said before, we just need to raise $8 to $10 million. That's all. It'll happen. We'll keep saving up our change. Anything else?
Just a comment from Hermitage Commissioner Mike Muha, not a test on Chick-fil-A.
Not a test site on the Chick-fil-A. Thank you. Thank you, Michael T. Muha. Thank you, sir. Not a test site. That's been confirmed. That is real news, not a test site. Commish, I do hope, though, that Chick-fil-A does happen in our future. I do hope so. And thank you for that stat from way back in the day when I posted on Facebook about the 15,500 to 16,000 cars that are on every single day. Thank you for that, Commish. Anything else?
Tony Laporta, will the Indy 500 happen? And do you have a favorite?
Tony Laporta, still waiting for that video. Tony Laporta, I don't think the Indy 500 is going to happen this year. I do not think it's going to happen, unfortunately, but we shall see. That trip will be missed. And do I have a favorite if it does happen? Oh, man. Maybe I'm just throwing this out there. Maybe Will Power. Maybe Will Power. He's one of the first names that came to mind, too. So, in order, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Anything else, Ryan? Do we have
I'd like to say John Appa, top commenter here, so maybe a shout out to him.
Shout out to John Appa. Oh, and by the way, I want to go over one last thing, especially for John Appa. A for the day. My A for the day goes to Sheetz. During these tough times, they're raising their wages $3 an hour for their employees during these times. They might even extend it, it said. So A for the day. That is some serious corporate responsibility right there. A lot of times these corporations, maybe the CEO or an owner of a business might come out and say, yeah, it's really tough, when a lot of times it's a little bit tough on them, but it's very, very, very tough on the employees. And I'm not saying that as a blanket statement, but I'm saying sometimes that does happen. So to see corporate responsibility like Sheetz come out and actually raise the wages during these tough times, A for the day to Sheetz. That is my A for the day. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to try to do this again if it was popular. These are just random things that I've written down that have come to my head that's fun to discuss. Hopefully it broke up a little bit of your day. And anything else, Ryan? Do we have?
Last comment, just switching over to Instagram. Doug Kettering, no Sharon Steel sponsor. He was questioning that.
Sharon Steel sponsor. That could be on the next Facebook and Instagram live.
You want to know potential indoor go-karts.
Indoor go-karts could happen as well. We'll have to talk to the go-kart king of the East, Mike Phillips. We'll have to talk to him about that. That could potentially happen. You never know. There's some in Pittsburgh. I know that. There's some even in Beaver, but those are outdoor. But there are some indoor in Pittsburgh. That could potentially happen. Kettering. That could happen. So, hey. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm serious. I appreciate it. Appreciate that very much. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And we're going to try to do it soon if we get some good feedback. If it was an absolute, bombshell and it was awful and it just, burned to the ground, then we'll never do it again. I'm going to leave you with this. Take pride in the Shenango Valley. Take pride in the Shenango Valley. It's one of the best places on earth. Trust me. So long, Shenango Valley folks. I love you.